It's the central Chinese city where the coronavirus was first identified over 3 years ago. But despite the fresh outbreak sweeping the country, tens of thousands of revelers celebrated the start of the new year in central Wuhan amid heavy security. Many Chinese took to the streets in Beijing to mark the beginning of 2023 too, as authorities and state media sought to reassure the public that the COVID-19 wave was under control and nearing its peak. State news agency Xinhua published an editorial on Sunday saying the current strategy was, quote, a planned science-based approach reflecting the changing nature of the virus. This man says the past 3 years has given us no opportunity to come out and play. It brought restrictions on travel and so on. Now, after the end of this lockdown, we don't have to scan the health code anymore, nor do we have to check the travel code. So we are free now. Though many people in major cities have continued to isolate as the virus spreads through the population, New Year revelries appeared to be mostly unaffected. In Wuhan, residents said anxieties about the impact of easing strict zero-COVID restrictions to live with the disease had now abated, at least for the young and healthy. While a long line of people queued at the emergency department of this hospital in the city, a major facility for COVID-19 patients. China's abrupt U-turn on COVID controls and the accuracy of its case and mortality data have come under increasing scrutiny both at home and overseas. The surge in cases has also raised fresh worries about the health of the economy. And on Sunday, Australia and Canada joined the US and others in requiring travellers from China to provide negative COVID-19 tests when they arrive. In his first public comments since the change in policy, President Xi Jinping called in a New Year's address for more effort and unity as China enters a, quote, new phase. China reported one new COVID-19 death in the mainland for December 31st, the same as a day earlier, the Chinese Center for Disease Control said on Sunday. The accumulated official death toll in China now stands at 5,249, far lower than in other large countries. The government has rejected claims that it has deliberately underreported the total number of fatalities.
I promise to maintain, defend, and fulfill the Constitution, observe the laws, promote the good of the Brazilian people, hold up the unity, integrity, and independence of Brazil.
North Korea marked the start of the new year with several weapons tests. The latest after a year that saw an unprecedented number of them by Pyongyang as it presses ahead on its weapons development, while experts speculate it could be on the verge of a fresh nuclear test. On Saturday, state media broadcast a handover ceremony of multiple rocket launches that included leader Kim Jong Un, hardware he said could strike anywhere in South Korea. The North state media quoted Kim saying his country needed to secure overwhelming military power and to develop another intercontinental ballistic missile system whose main mission is quick nuclear counterstrike. Kim accused Washington and Seoul of trying to isolate and stifle Pyongyang with US nuclear strike assets constantly deployed in South Korea, calling it unprecedented in human history. Ties between the Koreas have long been tense, but have grown even worse since the South's president, Yoon Suk-yeol, took office. Sunday's events come after a week of ratcheted up tensions with the South. A recent incursion of 5 North Korean drones has reignited debate about the South's air defences. And officials say Yoon ordered the military to send its own drones into the north in response, quote, even if that means escalation.
Ukrainian soldiers in frontline trenches marked the new year with sadness and resolve, remembering the fallen and vowing to fight until they achieved victory. 49-year-old Ola Zaratsky volunteered for the Ukrainian Army's 68th Brigade in the eastern Donetsk region following his son's mobilization. Zaratsky fought back tears as he described how his son is now fighting for his life after suffering a head injury.
It's very tough now. Brain injury, swelling and inflammation of the brain. In the hospital in Dnipro.
Bombardment and air raids marked the start of the new year as Russia continued intense attacks in Ukraine following a barrage of missiles fired on New Year's Eve. Pavlo Prehezhatsky, a musician in civilian life, marked the new year with the performance of a song he composed and dedicated to 12 members of his unit who were killed in a single night. And Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko briefly left the Ukrainian capital to visit soldiers in the Donetsk city of Bakhmut, the epicenter of fierce fighting in recent weeks. He praised, quote, the boys who defend our Ukraine every single day, and concluded with chants of glory to Ukraine, with rousing responses from the soldiers that included death to the enemy.
Slava Ukraini!
Despite heavy fighting around Bakhmut, the city has remained in Ukrainian hands for the duration of the 10-month war, though much of it lies in ruins.